Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of our mini podcast series, Prosperity with Purpose, brought to you by Group 3 of Section 7 of SCSH 1201. This mini podcast series, will be talking about the third pillar of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, prosperity. And this video is made only for assignment and academic purposes only. Today, I am going to be talking to you with my partner, Safia, live from M. Kamal Hassan Library. We are going to be talking about a topic that most people feel a little bit uncomfortable with, which is childhood trauma. We are going to be talking about what it is, how it affects us, and how we move on and grow from it.
Childhood trauma refers to the distressing or harmful experiences a child goes through that overwhelm their ability to cope. The National Institute of Mental Health USA defines childhood trauma as the experience or an event by a child that is emotionally painful or stressful, which often results in lasting mental and physical effects.
So there are actually different types of childhood trauma. We can see there is physical or emotional abuse, neglect, loss of a loved one, bullying, domestic violence, or even sudden life changes like displacement or poverty. And sometimes it doesn't have to be detrimental by the general lens, like if we see the movie Inside Out. We see the main character Riley move away from her home, the unfamiliarity of her environment, the feeling of being isolated when she was at school, all shake her sense of safety and her emotions spiral. Or in Hey Arnold, we see the character Helga G. Pataki, who faces parental neglect at home, which forces her to have like this tough persona to protect herself and to become more independent. Feeling invisible in her own home and not feeling safe to open up to anyone except maybe one or two persons, even at school. Or if we look in the character of Meteora in the series Stars versus the Forces of Evil, we see her had to grow up in a very oppressive childhood, raised by a robot maid who forced her to hide her nature as the monster-human hybrid and was deprived of her right to the throne. This caused her to later feel like her true identity was a flaw, which factored into her depraved mentality that all women had to follow certain rules and act in a certain way, and became the iconic villain of the series, the headmistress of St. Olga's Reform School. Or even in Harry Potter, when we see the character Harry raised in the Dursleys' household as a burden, hiding him under the stairs, making him do the chores, and not even celebrating his birthday, all which deeply affects his sense of self-worth.
These examples show that childhood trauma often comes from unstable environments, family conflict, lack of emotional support, community violence, and economic hardship. This relates to SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions, because safe environments are crucial for children's well-being.
And this also relates to preservation of life, Hifz al-Nafs, protection of lineage or family, Hifz al-Nasl, and protection of intellect, Hifz al-Aql, under the Maqasid Sharia, as the effects can be long-lasting. Trauma can impact mental health, relationships, learning, and even self-esteem. Just like Riley, children may struggle with anxiety, sadness, anger, or emotional numbness. Their whole personalities could change completely. Or like Helga G. Pataki, as I explained before, it could also be like suppressed and covered by a different persona to protect themselves. This links closely to SDG 3, good health and well-being.
What are the solutions? Supportive relationships, safe spaces, trauma-informed education, and access to mental health are key. we see in the Inside Out shows us that healing starts when emotions are acknowledged, not suppressed. When Riley came back from home after her attempt to run away and told her parents how she felt relieved, as if a huge burden has been lifted off of her shoulders. And we see joy and sadness together blend in her mind, creating a core memory. And later we can see she had healed and accepted her circumstances in her new home. Or even in the movie Matilda, we see when Miss Honey, her homeroom teacher, had visited Matilda's home to talk with her parents. We see how she noticed her family seems to undermine Matilda and prevent her academic growth. Miss Honey sees this and she comforts her and assists her in her studies and later even adopts her in the movie.
This also actually relates to SDG 4, quality education. Schools play an important role by supporting students emotionally, not just academically. For some children, school is the only safe space that they have. Just like Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold, who couldn't open up to anyone at home or at school on what she was facing. She could find some solace when she had her weekly sessions with Dr. Bliss, the school psychologist in the series. And from this, we can see that mental support can come from anyone, and schools are the second place a child would try to find some sort and feel some form of normalcy and safety.
That's true. So now we should understand that childhood trauma shapes compassionate human beings and builds stronger society.
Because when we care for children's emotional worlds, we invest in a healthier future, as they are the leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you so much for joining us for this short podcast episode. Tune in for our next podcast episode titled Self-Care.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.